Hey guys, happy Wednesday, aka Friday. You guys need out for math your math notebook and label it at the top with today's date, which is October 21st. And in honor of Halloween coming up next week, we are going to do some werewolf math. So you guys have a piece of paper. My e-learners at home, please also get a piece of paper. Any paper, blank paper, it can have lines on it, any scrap paper, just any piece of paper will do for this that we're going to be doing. And I first have a video for you to watch about this incident that is happening with werewolves and what we need to do to solve it. So everybody's being a listener. This is also on Schoology on your iPads if you want to view it there.
You're on the trail of a werewolf that's been terrorizing your town. After months of detective work, you've narrowed your suspects to one of 5 people: the mayor, the tailor, the baker, the grocer, or the carpenter. You've invited them to dinner with a simple plan.
I think the
You'll
carpenter.
slip a square of a rare werewolf antidote into each of their dinners. Unfortunately, your pet goat just ate 4 of the squares, and you only have 1 left.
So somebody's a werewolf. We don't know who. Who do you think it is? I think the carpenter did it. You guys think the carpenter, brother?
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of hair. So you think that he's a werewolf then actually, secretly? But
She looks really grouchy too.
he looks grouchy and werewolves are grouchy. There can't be happy werewolves?
I mean, they're not dogs. I don't think happy werewolves look trashy.
Well, but luckily, even though one of them is a werewolf, there's a cure for it. He has an antidote, okay? But his pet goat, he ate them. And now he only has this 1 left. But how many people were there? There were 5 people, and we only have 1 cure now to cure you if you are a werewolf.
Luckily, the remaining square is 50 grams, and the minimum effective dose is 10 grams.
Oh, so this piece that he has right here, how much does it weigh? 50 grams. And how much do you need for it to be able to cure you? 10. And how many people are there? There's 5. Well, 5 times 10 is 50. So there's enough, right? All of them can take the cure? Well, I'm not seeing a problem here.
That's the most easiest one so far.
If you can precisely divide the square,
Uh-oh.
There's 5.
So he has that 1 cure. He has that 1 piece, right?
Yep.
He has to make that 1 piece, though, into 5 pieces so they each get 1 piece. Well, can the pieces be different sizes? The pieces are all going to have to be exactly what? They have to be exactly 10 grams.
to fifths, you'll have just enough antidote for everyone. You'll have to use a laser cutting tool to cut up the square. Every other means available to you isn't precise enough.
Now, you are not going to be using a laser tool. We do not have fancy laser tools here, okay? So you will be using scissors for this activity. So you will need to get out your scissors, please. And I already hear lots of people playing with their scissors and making your scissors go really fast. Go ahead and set your scissors on your desk. Even if it's tempting to play with them right now, set them on your desk. I'm waiting on a couple friends to stop playing with them and have them sitting on their desk.
There are 8 points that can act as starting or ending points for each cut. To use the device, you'll have to input pairs of points that tell the laser where to begin and end each cut, and then the laser executes all the cuts simultaneously. It's okay to cut the square into as many pieces as you want, as long as you can group them into 10-gram portions.
All right, so he said we can make as many pieces as we need to, But each piece then needs to make what big? What big of size? 10 grams. Now, are we measuring our paper? No, but each piece needs to be exactly the same size, right? So on this one, there are 8 pieces, but this whole piece of 10 grams is the same as this one, right? The equivalent of these 2 pieces? All right, so that's definitely something to keep in mind.
But you can't fold the square or alter it otherwise.
Oh, no folding, no altering.
And you only get one shot at using the laser cutter. The full moon is rising, and in a moment, someone will transform and...
One of them is going to be turning into a werewolf any moment without this cure.
Tear you all apart, unless you can cure them first. How can you divide the antidote into perfect fifths, cure the secret werewolf, and save everyone?
Alright, so we're going to pause here, and here they give us some reminders. You must cut the square of antidote into perfect fifths, so 5 even pieces. You must use the cutter to make any number of straight line cuts, starting and ending at the labeled points, A through H. The cuts are made all at one time, that means simultaneously, and they destroy only a negligible amount of material when they cut. The cutter can only be used once. You cannot fold, tear, or alter, meaning change the square by hand. You can cut the square into more than 5 pieces as long as they can be grouped into perfect fifths. Ladies and gentlemen, using your scissors, and if you kind of need to use your pencil to kind of mark it out maybe on your paper, that's okay too. But you need to make me perfect fifths right now so that each person at our table is going to be able to get a cure. Go ahead and start working on that cure now. You're using the white paper I gave you from my class in Mrs. Long's class.
Do they have to be big?
You need to make 5 equal pieces. 5 equal pieces means 5 the same size. Yes. 5 pieces. No more, no less. If you don't use all of it, then they wouldn't be getting the full 10 grams of the antidote that they need. So no more questions right now. I know you guys are puzzled. And remember, math is about feeling uncomfortable. It's about being challenged, and that's when we learn. So hold your questions, and I want you to be an independent thinker right now. Be a problem solver. Be an active learner right now, and just try. Don't just sit there. You must try. There is an answer, I promise you, just like our zombie bridge, there is an answer. I'm not going to give you any clues or hints at this time because I want you trying. One cutter. I have a couple of friends who said, oh, I need another piece of paper, I messed up. How many antidotes did he have though? Oh, well, he needs 5, but he only has 1 piece right now. And they said the cutter can only be used once. My friends, if you have already made a mistake, you have no cure now for your dinner guest who might be, one of them is a werewolf. Okay? 1 shot is what you had at this. So my friends who have made a mistake, if you want to try and piece together your pieces and kind of sketch out with your pencil some other guesses you have, some other predictions, you can, but I am not giving you another piece of paper at this time.
Can we turn on the back light?
Yeah, Jake, will you turn on the right light? Thank you, sir. One more minute. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I'm seeing right now in front of me that you guys are working on is I see some friends who have cut 5 even pieces. However, they have lots of scraps that are sitting next to them. You couldn't have any scraps because you need to be able to get a full 10 grams. So any of my friends who have 5 even pieces with scraps, that's not going to work because that means those pieces, some of them might only be 8 or 9 grams. Okay, you couldn't have any scraps, no leftover paper. I see some friends who have 5 pieces, 5 antidotes, however, they're not the same size. Raise your hand if you have anything other than those 2 scenarios I just said.
So I cut mine into 2 to make 1 square, to make 5, and then
So when you hold up, so he has 4 squares and then 2 triangles that make up 1 square, equaling 5. However, those 2 triangles that you're making into a square aren't the same square size as your other ones. They all have to be the same size. They all have to be equivalent of 10 grams. You guys want to see how it's done?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you guys think it's impossible?
Yes.
No.
All right, here we go. Let's see how they do this. Listening in 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to puzzles that involve cutting and rearranging, it's often helpful to actually take a piece of paper and try cutting it up to see what you can get. If we cut BF and DH, we'd get fourths, but we need fifths.
Well, so that
Maybe
wouldn't
there's
work.
a way to shave a bit off of a quarter to get exactly 1/5. Cutting BE looks good at first, but that last cut takes off a quarter of a quarter.
So this is what I had a lot of friends do, is you had 5 pieces then, but your 5 pieces weren't the right size, right? Or you cut even pieces and you only had 4. One person didn't get one. Okay, so these are the 2 scenarios that I saw mostly when walking around.
Leaving us with a portion of 3/16, just smaller than a fifth, and not enough to cure a werewolf. What if we started with BE instead? That would also give us a quarter.
Okay, so do you see there's different shades of yellow? I think it's hard to see this one on the iPad. Let me see if I can scroll in. So you can see this section right here in yellow, this one in yellow, this sliver, and this sliver. So all equal pieces, all 1/4 in size, and we'll be talking about more fractions coming up, but there are only 4 pieces instead of 5 here.
And is there a way to shave just a bit more off? Both DG and CH look promising. If we make one more cut from A to F, we may start to notice something.
Ooh.
With these 4 cuts, from B to E, D to G, F to A, and H to C, we've got 4 triangles and a square in the middle. But the pieces that make each triangle can also be rearranged.
So we did have a friend who was kind of onto something with making triangles into squares, but they just had to be equal. So definitely a good idea there. It was just the final idea of getting them, how to get them all equal though.
To make a square identical to the middle one. This means that we split the antidote.
I'm going to show you that one more time to see how he cut that.
See, we've
There you
got 4 triangles and a square in the middle. But the pieces that make each triangle can also be rearranged to make a square identical to the middle one. This means that we've split the antidote into perfect fifths. What's interesting about this sort of problem is that while it's possible to solve it by starting from the geometry, it's actually easier to start experimenting and see where that gets you. That wouldn't be as viable if the square had, say, 24.
So when he made his, I want to go back to his one more time.
Or
Did it matter how many times he cut the paper?
Means that we
No, there was not a rule. You could cut the paper however many times you needed.
And H to C, we've got 4 triangles and a square in the middle. The pieces that make
So there were his pieces right there. There were all of his cuts. Okay, he had lots of smaller cuts. Okay, these 2 pieces, this one was here, and this one was here. Okay, so he had lots of smaller cuts. A lot of us were trying to make just 5 cuts that were going to be perfectly the same size, and that was not going to be possible.
each triangle can also be rearranged to make a square identical to the middle one. This means that we've split the antidote into perfect fifths. What's interesting about this sort of problem is that while it's possible to solve it by starting from the geometry, it's actually easier to start experimenting and see where that gets you. That wouldn't be as viable if the square had, say, 24 cut points, but with just 8, there are only so many reasonable options. You secretly dose each of the townspeople as the full moon emerges in the sky, and just as you do, a terrible transformation begins.
I knew it.
Then, just as suddenly, it reverses.
Oh,
Your
but he's
measurements were
okay.
perfect, and the people and animals of the town can rest a little easier.
Everybody's safe.
Work today.
We all knew it.
We all knew it. All right. So I know. Can I get my backlight turned on, please? Thank you. So I wanted to show you guys something. All right. I know that we are struggling with our dividing, and we know that our math facts are an issue for us, that we don't have them memorized. So something that I wanted to give you guys, and I'm going to be putting this on Schoology for you to use, and this is something that you still have to memorize it. This is still going to be work, guys. You still are not going to be able to use this on a test or on any of your assessments, but this is something that you could practice for a little while, and it would help you. If you know your divisibility rules, okay? So, for example, divisibility means dividing, okay? Numbers you're dividing. There's rules that you can keep in mind to help you get quicker with dividing. Okay, so if you know these rules, this would help you. So for example, the number 2. Numbers are divisible by 2 if the last digit is even. And they give us an example of 54 there, okay? 54, let's come over here then. In your math notebook, this is what I want you to write down. At the top, divisibility rules. So our rule of 2. They use an example of 54. And the rule is that if the last digit is even, it's divisible by 2. So my last digit here is what? 4. A 4. So that means 54 divided by 2. What's 5 divided by 2? 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. And what's 14 divided by 2? 7. So it is divisible by it because it can go into it with having no remainders, with a whole number. Okay, let's try another one by 2. Give me a 3-digit number, and the last digit is an even number. Megan? 592. I know with my divisibility rule of 2, I look at my last digit. Is it an even number? So I know it's going to be divisible by 2, right? Because let's try it. 592. When I divide it by 2, we already said 5 divided by 2 is 2. I bring down my... What's 19 divided by 2? Everybody? 9. Because 9 times 2 is 18. Bring down my other 2 here. What's 12 divided by 2? 6. So it went into it evenly, no remainders. Okay? Let's look at our rule for 3. Numbers are divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So sum, I know, is what kind of computation? Everybody? It's addition. We're adding. So they use the example of 456. So I add those 3 numbers together. 4 plus 5 plus 6. And it equals 15. Well, is 15 able to be divided by 3? Yeah. By what? 5. Yeah. 15 divided by 3 is 5, because 3 times 5 is 15. So all you have to do is add those 3 numbers. And if your answer is divisible by 3, then that greater number you had here, it's going to be divisible by 3. Our rule for 4. Numbers are divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits form a number divisible by 4. So for example, they have 336. The last 2 digits are 36. Is 36 divisible by 4? Yes. Let's check. What is 36 divided by 4? 9, because 9 times 4 is 36. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and stop here. We're going to be doing this more. I'm going to put this on Schoology. And we are in the next couple weeks or so, I'm going to be giving you guys some more practice on this to help you memorize these rules, because I think these will help you along with your math facts and keep working on those. I think this would be a good kind of help sheet for you to have. Okay, so when you see this on Schoology, I want you to go ahead and save it, because we're going to be practicing these, and I'm going to be talking about these in class, okay, and checking in with you to see if you are starting to try and memorize these rules, okay?
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, your math homework for tonight is a vocabulary on divisibility, okay? I want us to start getting these rules and seeing these patterns with our numbers better, okay? I know a lot of you are struggling with the long division, and it's taking you a long time. And it's taking you a long time because of those math facts and not having some of that number sense with the divisibility. Okay? So on vocabulary, you have an assignment on divisibility, okay? Any questions on what you have for math tonight? All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and get started.